Time for another frozen pizza review, and this time something different. We found this at Target, the department store located around the US and probably in other countries as well. And this comes out of a pizzeria, I guess, out of San Francisco called Pizza Antica at pizzaantica.com. This is our most expensive frozen pizza that we've purchased to date, $14.99. It says it's a pepperoni pizza, but I don't see any pepperoni on there. So let's get it opened up. Let's see what the deal is. And in fact, I'm going to need some scissors on this one. I don't think I've ever used scissors to open up a pizza before. Now, $14.99 could get me a hot, fresh pizza locally, probably bigger than this. But will it taste as good? Well, that's what I'm here to find out. I don't mind paying a little better. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't mind paying a little bit more to get something a little better. But is it? Oh, I see. We have a bag of pepperoni that we put on ourselves. Okay. As far as a cheese pizza, this style, it's actually much larger than traditional pizzas sold like this, like the previous margarita pizzas we've tried in a similar packaging from these smaller restaurants. There's actually quite a bit here, but at $15 there ought to be. All right, let me get my scissors again. And these pepperoni look like they're frozen solid, so I might have to let them thaw out before we can place them down. All right, there's our pepperoni. And then finally, the baking instructions here on the back indicate they want the oven at 450. That's a bit hot. Normally 425 is the standard. And let me just read on the back here. See what it's got. Cooking instructions. Cook thoroughly for food safety. Keep frozen until ready to prepare. Preheat oven to 450 Fahrenheit. Remove packaging from pizza, including the cardboard base. Remove packaging from pepperoni slices. Place on pizza. Place an upside down baking sheet or a pizza stone on the center rack inside the oven to warm it up. Then place the pizza directly on the baking sheet that's upside down or the pizza stone for 6 to 8 minutes, just until the cheese is melting, until it's just melting and the pizza has achieved an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. For food safety, bake to an internal temperature of 165 as measured with a thermometer. Ovens may vary. Adjust cooking time accordingly. Refrigerator, discard leftovers immediately. Do not refreeze the thawed product. This is property of Bacchus Management Group, Pizza Antica, San Francisco, California. Manufactured in a facility that also processes egg, fish, crustaceans, shellfish, tree nuts, and peanuts. Expiration date on this is February 9th of 2027. Now, to give you some concept of that, today is May 1st of 2026, and we bought this about 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it has a very long expiration date. It can sit in the freezer almost a year. So all this food safety stuff, yet, you know, it can sit in the freezer a long time. So we're nowhere near February, and I don't know if these have thawed out enough. Oh yeah, I guess we'll be okay. So I don't want to add anything to this. I want to cook it the way they suggest and eat it the way they suggest. At $15, I expect it to be damn good. Now, it looks promising, don't get me wrong. I'm just kind of hung up on that price, especially after looking at all the $5 and $6 options from, you know, other frozen pizzas that appear to be much more weight. You get a lot more food. And they're a little skimpy on the pepperoni. I mean, I barely have coverage here. I could use a few more. Okay, let me go throw this in the oven, and I'll see you right back here in a flip of a page. See the final product and give it a taste and see if we'll ever buy a $15 Pizza Antica ever again. Well, place your bets. Here we go. Now then, guys, here's what it looks like out of the oven. Pretty greasy for this style of pizza. I guess that's probably coming from the pepperoni. Big old puddles of grease all over this bad boy. Let me get that set down, and I'll give you my thoughts. Now, this did say 6 to 8 minutes in the oven. It was already bubbling, the cheese. After 6 minutes, I gave it an extra minute to cut the difference right in half. So this is 7 minutes in the oven on the rack, not on a pizza stone or an upside down baking sheet. And it looks like it cooked fine. Now, the pepperoni aren't going to get crispy that way because I did not turn on the broiler. And I don't think this pizza is intended for that anyway. Crust, this is one of the most difficult crusts I've ever had to cut through. My pizza cutter really struggled to get through it. I don't know why. It's so thin, you'd think it'd go through that like butter, but especially at the crust, it was a real struggle. But basically the cutter, the pizza wheel would go down and you had to really put a lot of weight on it to get through it. Be that good or bad, I don't know, but it's different. Normally I don't struggle that much unless it's a really thick, heavy crust, so I didn't expect that from a thin, light crust. You can see it's still pretty hot and it's got no structure whatsoever. And I'm not a big fan of the pepperoni not getting crisped up. But again, I think on this style of pizza, or I don't know, maybe when they cook it in a wood oven, it's so hot at like 800 degrees that maybe it does a better job at the top and it's not really meant to be cooked in a home oven. I don't know. Is this how it's supposed to look? I'm still waiting for this. I mean, the heat coming off of it's crazy. There's this crust here. You can see that it's a very thin crust, but it doesn't really have a whole lot of structure. It feels quite doughy. And sometimes these kind of pizzas, as they cool down and get to room temperature, that's when the crust will start to firm up. But then who wants to eat it at room temperature? So you would be permitted to use a knife and fork to prevent making a mess or burning yourself without being shunned or shamed, at least in my book. All right, let's see what we got. It's the pepperoni are a bit salty for me. The sauce is a bit bitter. The crust is barely there. This is so thin, it's almost not even there. Let me get to the edge and see how the bread is. That's actually good. In my opinion, if you have an Italian kitchen and you're making these traditional Neapolitan pizzas and you want to put that in a truck and be able to cook this on a food truck, this is exactly what this tastes like. It's not as good as a restaurant, but it's good for a food truck. That's about the best thing I can say for it. And I wouldn't pay $15 for this. At most, this is a $9 pizza all day, every day. Charging $15 for it is absurd. Let me work this out in my head. Price-wise, no deal. Taste-wise, it's okay. Authenticity, how it looks and the way that it's packaged, fantastic. Pepperonis, no good. Cheese, tomato sauce, the crust is 50-50. You know, the edges of it are fine. Anything other than that, it's practically liquid. It's so wet, and it doesn't have any rigidity at all, which is, with the grease, is just going to drip all over the place. This is not supposed to be a New York style pizza. It's San Francisco, and it's supposed to be Italian style. So we know the grease and that off-putting taste is coming from the pepperoni. It could be these pepperoni ruined this otherwise good pizza. On the other hand, if it's still got a soggy bottom, well, nobody wants a soggy bottom. Well, I'll tell you what, this would be a 10, is what I'd say if I hadn't eaten anything for 2 weeks. I was lost in the desert, nearing death. And just as I was about to give up on life, from the sky, this pizza parachuted in, steaming hot on a little table. And I'd have to reach out and touch it to see, is this real or is this a mirage? And oh my gosh, this would be the best tasting pizza I've ever had in that circumstance. But I'm not in that circumstance. And this is not the best pizza I've ever had. So based on that, in our current circumstance of having all kinds of choices, I think this is 7. Oh, I kind of feel like that number's high. 6.2. I feel good. 6.2 is an accurate description of this because you've got to factor in the price. It's difficult to find. The fact that Target has it doesn't mean your Target will have it. And it's enough to go through the trouble to go somewhere special to buy it, then pay the additional cost for it. And then you factor all that into its texture and the flavor of the pepperoni. And yeah, 6.2. Final answer. I hope this helps you decide if you want to try these out or what to expect. Some of the things I dislike might be your favorites. That's okay. Let me know your favorites. If there's one you want me to try, in the comment section below the video, and if we can get it locally, I'll be eager to pretty much try it. As long as it's got tomato sauce and cheese and bread, hook me up. Let me know. In the meantime, I'm happy to have tried it. It's different. And I probably will never have that ever again. There's a local restaurant down the street that serves an amazing pizza for less money than this. And I mean, it's the best pizza, better than any frozen pizza I've ever had. Better than any other pizza I've had in my life. So just because it's more expensive doesn't mean it's better. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next frozen pizza review. Until then, bye for now.